Hi you guys, I have 4 things that I wish I knew before starting my garden. Come along with me and I'll show you. Now you know how you first start something, you really don't know what you're doing. You have to do it over and over again until you perfect it. So I'm going to show you the 4 mistakes that I made when I first started my garden. The first mistake that I made with my garden is overseeding. Instead of me planting the seeds in a row, I took the seeds out of the bell peppers and I just threw them out in this garden bed right here versus planting the seeds in a row. So they are all bunched up. They are growing. Thank God for the growth. You see the flowers blooming, but the next time I will plant the seeds in a row. Now my second mistake was I didn't separate each garden bed correctly. Do you see how this is the pepper garden and this is the watermelon garden? The watermelon garden grows tremendously and it grows everywhere, you guys. You see it going into the peppers and it's also growing over here where the cucumber plant is. So what I should have done is made a big enough garden bed for the watermelons. That's my second mistake. My third mistake was overwatering. I used to water all throughout the day, at least 3 times a day. But I've learned, and what works for me is watering 1 time a day, which is early in the morning before 8 o'clock. And another thing that I noticed is this is the wrong way of watering when the plants have already grown. Did my research and I've learned that you water the bottom of the plant. That will keep everything watered and moist, and the plant will receive the water and continue to grow. With these pots right here, the pot has holes at the bottom, so you water inside this small container and that keeps the plant moist. With this particular pot, you water on the inside of the hole the same way. Make sure it's filled and it keeps the soil and the growing seeds moist. I've learned this over the summer and this is what works for me, but I was overwatering and I've learned a better way of watering. Moving on to number 4. And my 4th mistake is growing poles, growing stakes. When I first started growing the cucumbers, I didn't have stakes. So the cucumbers did basically like the watermelon plant. It just grew wild and grew everywhere. So with the stakes, the cucumber plant grows up instead of growing wild. And along with the stakes, you don't have to use stakes always. You can use something like sticks. I use the sticks to keep the tree growing up. This is the cherry tree. But at first, I wasn't using stakes and sticks. Everything was growing everywhere. And I should have planted the stake or the stick before the plant started growing so it can catch on to it as it grows. Now, I should have done that for the watermelon and also for the peppers. I'm giving you a heads up. So those are the 4 mistakes that I made. And what comes along with gardening is you just learn it really naturally. I just learn and do different experiences when it comes to gardening, and I do what works for me. I just want to let you guys know that those are my 4 mistakes that I don't want you to make, but I always do what's best for you. Happy gardening!